Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. I don't think I brought my guitar today, and I think that might be a good thing for some people. For some people, for sure, that is probably a good thing that I did not bring my guitar. Anyway, today I'm not going to talk about stuff that will make you want to rip out your hair. Today I'm going to talk about the Avata, and I've got all these sheets because, you know, sometimes you need sheets to remind yourself of what's going on today. But before I start this whole thing, where I tell you guys some of the DJI top cool stuff that they nailed, some deal breakers that are personal to me, and somewhat okay problems with the DJI Avata, as well as what the community is doing to make sure that these products here work better for you guys, because we want you to have the smoothest flights that you could possibly have, almost as smooth as somebody we know. But before we get into that, let's give a quick shout out to these two companies, because they do make decent drones, especially Rotor. If you don't like this kind of drone and you really want to get into the high level FPV, like loops and rolls and all kinds of stunts and stuff, and you don't want to worry about the tumble, one thing that you can do is get yourself one of these. And this is a Ledrib Skylight 3 built and tuned ducted drone, because you can never have enough guts. You can never have enough ducks in your drones. Anyway, so that's a bird joke. If you didn't get it, that was a bird joke. Anyhow, so let's go through some of the things that I have to say about the DJI Avata. You can read these squiggles and hieroglyphics in your own time. So you guys can stop the video and then check this out later on. But I'm going to go through all this stuff real quick so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start with the bad stuff, and then I'm going to go into the good stuff, because there is plenty of good stuff. But I'm going to leave that towards the end of the video. If you want to skip to the end of the video to see the good stuff, you can. Because that's the beauty of live streams that you haven't watched during the live stream. You can skip to the next bit. But right now, this is live, so I'm sorry. Sorry, you're going to have to listen to the bad stuff. All right, so the deal breakers for me regarding the Avata, but that's it's very personal in that case, because, again, as I said, I struggle with learning stuff, so it took me a long time to pass the naturalization test. It took many years to study for it, and so on and so forth. But once you pass it, that's it. You don't have to take it again and again and again. So that's what really has discouraged me to do the Part 107. I spent the money for the course. I started studying it. And now I'm kind of discouraged, because even if I pass it, every 2 years I have to pass it again. And so that kind of really puts me off the whole thing. Anyway, so here we go. So the deal breakers for me for the DJI Avata are, it is over 250 grams. So the FAA considers it to be a professional grade drone, and therefore, you know, as a amateur, whatever, I can't fly it unless I get certified. Or at least I might be able to fly it for a little while until they start enforcing the new laws, and then it becomes a brick. And so would I spend $1,500 because I don't want the Avata as is? The Avata as is does me no good. I need the Avata as is, plus a bunch of features, and perhaps a GoPro that would go on it, perhaps remote and stuff. So eventually it'd be around $1,500. So yeah, I wouldn't spend that much for a brick. So the other thing is, it is loud. It is loud. I love my neighborhood. I love where I live. Irvine, California Woodbridge is a fantastic place. And I just do not want to annoy people with super loud drones, which is why when you see me fly all the time, I go to places that are kind of secluded, or areas where the people here that are in charge of security have said tend to be good places to fly, or in any case, you won't see a lot of people when I fly the drones. Anyway, so those are two things. So over 250 grams, it's loud. Number 3 is something that's personal only to me because I like to do things in live stream format. I think that there is talk about making the Avata live stream capable, just like the Mini 2 was supposed to be, and then things went south. So that could be basically a deal breaker for me personally, but they may fix it, so who knows. Then it also does not have any object tracking, and most of the drones that are sort of in the stabilized DJI form, I like to have the ability to at least track something. The latest and greatest DJI Mini 3 has some sort of tracking on it, so that looks better to me compared to a DJI Avata. Then the other thing is there is no ready-to-fly combo kit that comes with the traditional style remote. The one that they have is that funny looking thing, and I wouldn't spend money for it. I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy that specifically. So, you know, in the end, if you think about it, the best way to get into it would be to buy the previous drone. The best way to do it, where did I have that piece of, here. One of the best ways to get into this kind of FPV thing is to buy this one, which comes with this and the goggles, and then just buy this on its own. That's usually what makes the most sense. But again, both of the drones are over 250 grams, which doesn't make something that I could do. And that's about it. Yeah, that's right. So those are the deal breakers that are specific to me. Those may not be deal breakers for you guys, so that's why I put it into my specific deal breakers. And then there are some other things that are somewhat okay problems that you can sort of, like, for me, these are problems that I could totally overlook. And these are, the batteries fall out when there's a crash. It happens on my DJI Mini 2 as well, even though there's an extra latch on that. So I'm used to it. Just don't crash your drone, or just fly more carefully. So that is not something that is so bad that I wouldn't buy it for that reason. Then it's hard to find in a field. Yes, it's pretty hard to find it in a field because it's completely black. So, you know, in the vegetation and stuff, it could be quite difficult to find. It's not bright enough like, you know, some of the other drones might be. But again, I have the same problem with the DJI Mini. It's mostly like sort of gray whitish, so it also kind of maybe less than the Avata would. Prop guards break is something that some people have said, but a lot of people have said that the prop guards are fine. So again, something that you could overlook. They said that there's a problem with the micro SD card slot location, and I do agree with that, because my bunch of the other things that I have, like old phones and my Vilta, my SV Vilta or something, they all have those little thingies, and the rubber bit, eventually when you open and close it, eventually it breaks and stuff. So that could end up in the propellers and cause you to crash your drone. But if I was to buy it, I probably would just cut it off, and then there wouldn't be that much of a problem. Battery messing with center of gravity. Yes, the Avata has a battery that is very, very high up and kind of towards the rear of the drone. So that could cause some of the issues that people have been discussing. Let's see. Remote ID is standard on the drone, which once that becomes a thing, could be a big no-no for some people anyway. Software switch to normal mode and advanced mode is kind of cumbersome. I mean, you can't, doesn't seem that you can just set your drone to automatically be either stabilized or in normal mode, which is the free mode or whatever, the advanced mode by default. It kind of have to go through a whole bunch of steps, and then there's this new swiping thing on the goggles that that could be a bit of a cumbersome thing. Anyway, it's one of the reasons why I don't particularly like the idea of the new goggles. That probably, if I was to buy it, again, if I was to buy this drone, I would do what I was showing you guys in the other picture, which is buy it with the other drone. I would probably buy this drone that comes with the old goggles and the old remote, and then bind it to this one. So then just buy the drone on its own. That's what I would do. But again, it's not really a thing for me that I could do at this point. Then there's the other issue that some people are saying the motors are underpowered for freestyle. And that is it. That is it. There's no more negatives. Those are the only negatives that I could come up with. Perhaps some other people may have come up with other negatives, but those are the only negatives and deal breakers that there have. There are a lot more positives, because that's the problem, right? When you have the super hype in the stuff, and then people just jump on stuff and they start overblowing things out of proportion. But those are the only negatives that I could really find, and some of them are just completely okay. You could, like, especially if you are already like a if you are somebody who's already like a professional, you already have your Part 107, and you're used to flying drones that are over a certain thing, over a certain weight. Most of the stuff that I find to be like negatives are not even an issue. They're completely a non-issue for you. And the Avata is very, very stable. It's got some features that I will talk about that are right here, which you probably won't find on other FPV drones. And so the fact, I mean, the combined fact that it's extra stabilized and easy to fly and land and stuff like that makes it very, very easy for you to do a lot of stuff like taking videos and pictures of insides of homes and stuff like that. So for real estate, it's really good. And quite a few YouTubers have shown how well it works. I mean, there was one YouTuber that had this whole thing where he shows you how he flies over cars inside what looks like a museum. Another YouTuber shows you the inside of some houses, how you can go even like on going inside the house and then out into the backyard and then coming back in. It's all stabilized. It looks great. And, you know, you can use gyroflow. So basically, the DJI Avata has a bunch of things such as this. It's easy to fly, especially if you use the motion controller. It creates great video. It has decent digital footage in the goggles. It goes really, really long distance with decent penetration. And you get a really nice, smooth video back to your goggles, which with analog is not going to be as good. We've seen it over and over again. You've seen tests done by Joshua Bardwell where he goes down into this garage, and he's like further up, and you know, like the penetration is absolutely fantastic on the Avata. You can't really say anything bad about that part. It's got turtle mode automatically set up in the system, which, for instance, a lot of my analog drones do not have it set up, or I don't know how to get them to do it. So that is another plus feature that is super cool. Okay, so then what we said gyroflow, said has an amazing camera. The camera has the ability, like a lot of the drones, such as this one right here. This is one of the first drones that had the tilt going up, all the way up and all the way down. The DJI Avata has that, and that is a feature that usually was only for camera drones. It wasn't like something that you could put on a analog or, you know, FPV drone. So that is a big step ahead. Like there's a video that Ken here has done. You should go check out his channel here, Ken, right here, Kenshiro from Hokuto no Ken. Anyway, so he does a video where he goes into what looks like a silo. He takes the Avata up. Let's say this is the silo here. So he takes the Avata up, over. Then he aims the camera down. He goes down into the silo. Then he brings the camera up so that he can sort of spin around and see what's in the silo. Then he aims the camera up so he can see the opening of the silo, which is right here, and he comes straight out. I mean, you can't do that with other drones. So, I mean, that is definitely a number one feature of the Avata that you're just not going to find on other drones. I think that you could add something like that if you wanted to as an aftermarket bit, but it would be very difficult to configure, and the Avata just has it stock. So what did I say? It's very stable during low flights. I said that before. It has safe prop guards, very nice. It works well with 2 of the DJI goggle systems, and it can lift a GoPro, because, you know, that's what they always ask Captain Drone, can it lift a GoPro? Yes, this one can lift a GoPro. So anyhow, if you have any issues, and I did mention a whole bunch of issues over here with the Avata, the community has found a lot of solutions for that, and that is where this nice little poster here comes in handy. This one, and the other one was also nice too. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where did I put it? This one has a slightly better picture of Ken here holding the DJI Avata with, what do you call those things? I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to say it wrong. I always say things wrong. I think it's called the ribbed rider. The ribbed rider. So whether you are male, female, or non-binary, it will make your flights a whole lot better, because number one, it's very shiny, so you can find your drone better. But also, should you happen to bump into thing, the experience is going to be better for your general flight is going to be better, because being that it's nice and ribbed and stuff, when it hits something, it'll bounce right back, and you won't break your propellers, which is important. So that already takes care of one of the biggest issues that we talked about before, the possibility of those things breaking. Again, the original Dobo created his own special system, and hopefully you guys will be able to buy those easily from his website. Don't just buy the aftermarket or other copies of his product, because there have been some people who have gone and taken his special design and copied it, and that's just wrong. That's just wrong. So he talks about how he's angry about that, and he should be, because you shouldn't do that unless, you know, he has some kind of licensing with them, and say, you know, like, and then they give some of the profits that they make to him. If those people had a deal with him, that'd be different, but they're just ripping him off. So that's just totally uncool. Then you also have, because they say that the DJI Avata, aka Screech, is a big boy, and so as a big boy, what you need is a jock strap. I wish this was in color. Doesn't quite do it justice, but anyway, there's a jock strap that you can put on the back there, and what that saves you from is when the drone is known to crash, and then the battery falls out. With that special strap that he's done, he's gone and created it with a special resin system, and so it just clamps on and off, and it stops you from losing your battery, which is really important. Then there's another issue, right? How do you attach your GoPro? So there's a system for that too, that you can attach your GoPro on top. And what else? I think it was Eddie Nunes, and also I think Justin Davis from Drone Camps, Mr. Camps himself, have spoken a lot about these filters right here that you can put on top of your camera to make much better videos come out of this Avata. What else do we have? They've been saying that there's this tumble issue with the Avata. And so I think it is Murderers FPV and also Justin from Mr. Camps have done a couple of videos on what happens. First of all, what happens if you take off the prop guards, for instance, compared to flying the thing with prop guards on. And you can do a motor upgrade to these if you know how to solder and stuff. Solder, I don't know. Everybody calls it differently, says it differently. But anyway, you could change out these motors. I think they're called Axis Flying C157. I don't know. You should check out their videos. If you go check out their videos, they'll have it in the description where you can buy those. Again, that's not an upgrade that you could do easily. The other ones, the ones Ken Dobo is talking about here, the ribbed rider, the ribbed rider, and the jock strap, as well as that other thing that you can attach your GoPro to. Those are just really easy, intuitive. You can just slap them on your drone and you're good to go. If you want to fly like a crazy man, which is, the Avata was not designed to fly like a crazy man and do those, you know, flips, rolls, and go super fast. So the drone is flying in this direction and then turn. That's where the famous tumble happens, where the drone suddenly does this and then it falls to the ground. If you're not a good pilot, you can't reverse it. But most of the good pilots that I've seen were able to reverse it. And most of the good pilots don't fly that way on purpose unless they're testing it to show you guys what happens. So, I mean, this is kind of like a non-issue, but like if I was to fly the drone, that would never happen to me because I don't do loops, I don't do rolls, and it doesn't seem to have the problem if you just do this. Like if you do this and then you loop back like this, no problem. The only times it does it is if you're going full speed like this, and I don't know why you would do that. Like this, and then you turn like that. That's the only time it does it. But that's what happens when you where's the other one? Where's the other one? That's what happens when DJI makes a drone that is super heavy like an elephant. And then they give people bad habits, because that's probably how the people learned how to fly this thing, because it didn't have prop guards. It was a different kind of drone altogether. And you could do that. You could do this. You see how it naturally wants to be in this position? You could go at 100 miles an hour like this and then turn and it wouldn't flip. But people are trying to fly this thing, which is not designed to do that way. So I don't know why they do that, but you know, create drama that doesn't, you know, that shouldn't exist. Anyhow, so another thing that is cool is Kendobo has shown off this cool thing here. And if you see his video over there, there's this case that you can get for the Avata, and it allows you to put all your stuff in so that you don't have to like just dump it in a box or put it inside a backpack, and then it takes you like, you know, I don't know, it could take you anywhere between 2 to 7 minutes just to prepare your drone and then fly. So if you have a case like this, which has everything very nice and neatly, it's an OCD's man's dream. Like for me, it's perfect. You have everything that you want right there, easy. So you just grab your Avata. Underneath your Avata, you have a bunch of cool stuff, as well as you got the goggles, the remote. Both remotes are actually able to fit in this case at the same time. Batteries, chargers for the goggles and the actual drone. So I mean, hey, oof. Anyway, that was a lot. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen this video here, this is really fun. Ken and this guy show you how cool it is. Again, kids, don't try this at home. It's for your entertainment purpose only. But they showed you how you have to have 2 goggles, so it's not that easy to do. But you could actually see yourself, like let's say you're riding a bike or you're just walking or whatever. You could put on a pair of goggles and somebody could fly the Avata behind you, and it's like you're in the video game. It is so cool. I'd love to try it, but I don't have the Avata. I don't have a spare pair of goggles, and I don't have friends that have those. So anyway, maybe someday. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. So I'm very glad that above all, even though DJI does what DJI does, the community here of YouTubers is fantastic. So they've gone out of their way to really make this smoother for you guys. So I just wanted to do a video where I just bring all this good content from all these channels so that you guys can go out and check out yourselves. But anyway, yeah. So if you guys want to get yourself a DJI Avata, you guys are not alone. Thanks to these guys. You guys are not alone. There's a community support and things that you can buy to solve the majority of the problems that I explained to you guys in the beginning of the video. So anyway, I hope you guys had fun. during this live stream, and that this information here is going to be helpful for you guys in future. But what else can I say? Peace out. Peace out, guys. And most importantly, let's go and give a bunch of love to the people who actually made the effort to do all this. I'm just, showing you guys what they did. This is not my work. This is their work. And I think it is fantastic that they've spent the time to do this, to bring you guys this good information. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I hope you did. But if not, you still have a chance. Go check them out, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, guys.